1967 collective, we're here to dominate.
Welcome back. We are here again with Conversations with Broker Brad. Here on the show today, we have Marci Spruiell. Marci, come on down.
What did you play?
I mean, that's a pretty good intro anyways. Usually there's a little button that has applause. Instead, it's this random music.
That's okay. It's nice. It's good. Wah, wah, wah.
That works pretty good too, though. That's good. That was great. Yeah, like I say, usually it's an applause thing, so we're just gonna roll with it, though.
I like it.
That's
It's good.
totally
We're
fine.
good.
So, Marci, thank you for coming and being on
Yeah,
here.
thanks for having me.
So, I always tell people on this little podcast thingy that I do, it's always fun for me because I have a couple of things I feel like that I kind of know about you or about whomever, but then every single time without fail, and whenever somebody comes on, I always learn something new.
Okay.
So it's always a ton of fun for me and hopefully fun for people that watch it too. But as people kind of know, we talk about everything. Obviously we already know you're a realtor here with 1867. That's kind of a given. But yeah, it's fun to just kind of for people to get to know you a little bit. Hopefully they find out more about you, and stuff like that. So
Okay.
You were here already doing some videos.
Yeah, we were doing some videos.
So it worked out really good. And so look for that. You'll be seeing some of Marci
You might
here.
get some bloopers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and so, okay. So first, couple of obvious things out of the way that I know about you. So you came here to us from Florida. You lived in Navarre.
Correct.
Did I say Navarre?
Yes, it's Navarre, and it's on the Emerald Coast. It's in
Okay.
between what most people would know as Destin, Florida, and then Pensacola.
Right.
So it's right smack dab in the middle, and it's a little beach town that I absolutely love, and the water is just stunning.
Now, have you been back there?
I haven't
Since
been
you've
back
been here,
yet,
okay.
but I'm like dying to go back.
I bet.
I've got tons of business going out there. You
Right.
would think that,
Oh, totally.
I need to go back.
Totally right.
At least to visit.
So you're from, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. Are you from Florida?
I'm not from Florida.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
I'm from everywhere.
You are.
That's what I tell people. I'm from everywhere because I was a military brat. My dad was in the Air Force for 22 years, and I moved around a lot. So I'm actually from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Really? Okay, very cool. Do you feel like, is that where you were born, or did you live there the most time?
That was where I was born.
Okay.
I claim Florida, Northwest Florida, as my home. Yeah. I lived there for probably 14, 15 years off and on. And then also Virginia near Newport News is where I was there from the time I was like 8 to 18.
Oh, okay.
And so I claimed that. And then from the time I was like 2 to 8, I was in Florida. And then again when I was like 20 to 22, and then again from when I was, 30 to 35. So I was in Florida a lot, but just off and on. But the most time I've ever spent in one location was in Virginia.
It was in Virginia. Oh, wow. Okay. See, there you go.
I've moved around a lot. The
Yeah,
military
yeah.
takes us everywhere.
Right. Well, and when you first got in touch with Rachel about, moving to Nebraska and kind of what you wanted to do, I was really just very, what do you say? Shocked is not the right word. Shocked in a positive way. I was really looking forward to it because it was something different. I've heard of, I bet you see this a ton in Florida. Like agents that are licensed in Florida, there's a ton of them that are licensed up and down the coast, like up to New York and all of other places on the East Coast as well. Is that in Navarre specifically? Does that happen a lot?
So not really. We do have like
okay.
a ton of agents out there on the Emerald Coast, like a ton. There's a lot. So it's really hard to stand out in that market.
Gotcha.
However, the cool thing about moving here to Nebraska was the laws in Florida for real estate are so similar to the laws here in Nebraska.
Oh.
So you get reciprocity between the two states. So coming up here, there was a couple things I had to learn, which, fun fact, I did not know this in Nebraska, but you can't sign contracts until you're 19.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Like, if you're 18 years old, I'm like, you're an adult in Florida, you can sign a contract. Here in Nebraska, you
19
can't.
years old, yeah.
So that was kind of interesting to learn when I moved out here. So, it's been a little bit of a change, especially with like dealing with basements and stuff. But
Right, totally.
Yeah.
Well, and so new for us too, because you live in Papillion.
Yes.
And so we have a builder in Omaha, and we do other things in Omaha in general. But
Shout out Hadley Homes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. But you're our first person, though, to have your kind of home base in the Omaha area.
Yes.
So that's been fun.
I was talking to Rachel, and she absolutely love her. She's fabulous.
Yeah.
As soon as I met her, I was like, yep, she's my person.
Good. Yeah.
So I was talking with her, and she was telling me how they were trying to branch out into the Omaha market.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I know you're coming. Would you be interested in working with 1867? And so, I had interviewed with a couple brokerages, and I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to rep a builder on top of doing my residential stuff, because I've done probably 95% of my business has been VA buyers or doctor loans with doctors buying properties. So I was like, I really want to get into what it's like to build new construction, luxury, custom homes. And so when I was talking with her, it was like everything just lined up in place. Like it was meant to be. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're glad you did.
Yeah, I am too. I had a great time so far.
It's worked out really well for us. So we really love that about it. So you mentioned because I knew that you had done a lot with VA loans. Because there is a base where?
So in
Florida.
In Florida, we've got a lot of bases.
There are. Okay.
There's so many. We have Eglin Air Force Base. We have Hurlburt Field. We have the 7th Group, which is just south of Crestview, which is like the northern part of that area.
And are these different branches, by the way, or is this all Air Force?
So 7th Group is Army.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have the Air Force, which would be Eglin and Hurlburt. And then you have the Navy at NAS Pensacola, which everybody knows about.
I was going to say, that
Pensacola.
sounds really familiar.
Yeah, because they have the Blue Angels that fly out there, and that's their home base. And so everybody always wants to see the Blue Angels.
Yeah.
So big air shows out there. It's really neat. But here in Omaha, we have Offutt Air Force Base, which is a huge base. I mean, and they've got a lot of really cool missions going out there. So a lot of military community members PCSing in and PCSing out a lot. They do say once you get off it, you don't get off it. I know.
That's a dad joke. I love it. That's great.
A thing. I love jokes.
That's awesome.
And so I thought that was really funny. But, you do see people rotating in and out. So they move into a lot of that area around Bellevue and Papillion. And that's kind of where my focus has been always was military. So I really take a lot of pride in working with military buyers because I was a military brat. I was a spouse for 14 years. And that's just what I've really enjoyed working with was the military buyers.
That's awesome. Totally right. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of us that like to be educated and like to have knowledge and to be able to serve our different clientele and stuff like that. But there's just always going to be that difference between learning about something in a book or online or whatever and living it. And so as there's designations and things out there to become a certified military specialist and stuff like that, and totally valuable, don't get me wrong. But again, to have lived it and to have done it, it just head over heels different.
It's a whole different experience. I, as a dependent at that, I mean, that's ultimately what I was in the military because I was never active duty.
Right, sure.
But you see it from a different perspective. I was a child, with a dad who PCS'd a lot, so we moved around. And then I was a spouse with, and we moved around a lot, so I got to see it from both sides of it. And then my partner in Florida, Jen Bostic, I miss you. She's fabulous. She was actually prior active duty, and she taught me a lot because she was security forces. And so she taught me a lot about that side of being actually active and giving me the perspective from that cool. angle. So I feel like my whole life I've just been around the military, and it's what I know.
Totally.
And I feel like it's really easy to empathize with those people whenever they're going through all the different motions that come with a PCS.
Now, okay, you've said PCS a couple of times. What does that mean? What's that stand for?
Permanent change of station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Permanent change. So
when you move from one base to another?
Yeah. So a TDY would be a temporary duty assignment.
Okay.
But a PCS is a permanent change. So where you might be at Hurlburt, and then say you get assigned to Offutt, and your tour over at Hurlburt ends, when you PCS, it's a permanent change, and so then you move here.
I see. Okay. What do you think? Because you've seen Offutt and have you been on base?
Yeah, I have been.
Okay.
Offutt's a great base.
What is it like in comparison to some of these other bases in Florida or other places that you've seen? Is it smaller, larger, medium sized?
So I'd say it's a good sized base. I know they had the flood a couple years ago, so they just started rebuilding. They have an amazing gym.
Oh.
An amazing gym. Probably one of
Yeah.
the coolest gyms I've ever seen. It's an old hangar where they used to
What kind of
build
gym are we
planes.
talking about?
Like a
basketball
workout.
gym, workout. Okay.
Yeah, like you're lifting weights, you're running.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they have a whole on track inside this gym. Like it's
Yeah.
it's massive.
Okay.
I've never seen anything like it. So
cool.
that was really neat to find out. But the biggest difference really for me is I've always been around bases that had fighter jets.
Oh,
And the planes here are massive.
They're more, what would we call them?
They're the RC-135, so they're
Big,
huge.
yeah.
They're just massive.
Like cargo planes?
I don't know what
Yeah.
they really are. I
Right.
couldn't tell you because I don't really do
it's
anything
okay.
along
Right.
those lines.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're just so big, and like you're so used to hearing the fighter jets and their engines, and they're just cruising through the air.
Yeah.
But these planes that don't look like they should be able to fly
Right.
are just like kind of hanging out,
Yeah,
doing their
totally
thing,
right.
and you're
Yeah.
like, "Why? How is that thing flying? It's huge."
Yeah. So
really
would you say there's no fighter jets or there's still some,
I
just not that
haven't
many?
seen any.
You haven't seen
So
any? Okay.
I don't
Maybe
know
there
if
aren't
we
any.
have any but just on the base, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen any.
Okay.
So it's interesting. All I've ever seen are the RC-135s and the RJs and all these other ones that they have. That they have
Right.
like different, categories of what they are. So
Yeah, definitely.
but it's cool to see them because I mean, it's always neat to see the military. We do have the air show coming up too
Yeah.
at the end of the month.
Which air show?
The air show over at Offutt. It's
Oh,
I think
really?
it's the
In Offutt?
23rd and 24th of the month
Oh, I didn't know that.
of August. Yeah.
Oh gosh, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Does Offutt put it on every year, sort of? a thing?
No, that's the thing.
Oh,
so
okay.
they don't put it on every year. To my
Oh.
understanding, they haven't had it in a few years.
Oh, okay.
So they are putting it on this year, and so it's kind of a big deal, is what I've been told.
Yeah.
So obviously a little bit newer to the area, so I'm not familiar
Sure.
with the history of their air show, but if you're around, you should go check it out.
Yeah. Well, because what was it? It was last year that the Blue Angels were in Lincoln.
Yeah, they're so
I
cool.
think. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
But
they're
I
neat. They're
truthfully
cool.
have never seen the Blue Angels.
No, those are Navy. So you'll hear
Right.
a lot of people be like, "Oh, the Air Force Thunderbirds are so much better than the Navies."
The Navies.
Yeah,
totally.
but I'm partial to the Blue Angels just because we lived out there for so long and got to
Right.
see them fly, and they're just incredible.
Yeah. So you have we were just talking about this.
Okay.
You've got two
gosh.
two sons. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. 2 sons and a daughter,
Yes.
right? Or no? Okay. Tell me your family makeup.
So I have Kale, he's 13,
Uh-huh.
Jace is 9, Liam is 7, and Lene is 5.
Okay. There we go.
There's
okay.
4. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
missed one.
Yeah. There's a lot. We've got a lot going on.
So we were just talking about school. So they're all starting school, and so
They're
they're
all starting school.
elementary and middle school, right?
Elementary, middle. So we've got 3 in elementary, and then 1 who's in 8th grade. And yeah,
Yeah, we
it's-
were just talking in the summertime in general. It's so different. The summertime used to be like pure fun.
I feel
Right?
like, and it's interesting because Kale, who's my 13-year-old, he's been working a lot this summer to try and earn some
good
money.
for
So he's
him.
been
Yeah.
mowing lawns and stuff, but all he wants to do is like fish. Otherwise,
right.
he's building fish tanks in my house right now. Like he has a pet fish that he got out of the creek, and he hand feeds it worms. Brad,
Okay.
he hand feeds it worms
Wow, yes.
every day, and I'm like, I made him do a PowerPoint presentation in order to get this fish.
To get the fish, yeah.
Because I was like, how are you going to take care of it? I'm not
Right.
taking care of this
Right.
fish. I have 4 kids to take care
What
of.
kind of fish is it? Is it a bass?
I think so.
Okay.
I think
Bass
so.
are really common.
If you ask him if I know anything about fish, he's going to tell you absolutely not.
Right,
And
yeah.
he will. You should have him on. He'll talk to you all day about fishing. Yeah,
Right.
I'm serious. You should
That'd be
have
fun.
conversations with Brad and then your agent's kids.
Right, and then yeah,
And they'll
totally
just
right. Yeah.
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, okay, so that's cool because you've had so background for some other folks. You've had some other animals in your house
Oh, gosh.
earlier this year.
Yeah. So for Valentine's Day,
Uh-huh.
my boyfriend Jeremy,
Uh-huh.
he got me quail eggs
Yeah.
and 12 of them to be exact. And mind you, I'm not a farm girl.
Right.
I'm not.
Quail. Yeah.
Quail, I know nothing about,
Yeah.
any type of livestock at all. I've
Sure.
only ever owned dogs and a cat in the past. And
Right.
so I'm like, you give me, and a hamster. I had a hamster at one
There you
point,
go.
and she lived for a really long time, mind you, which was surprising.
Yeah.
But quail has been a whole different experience. They're really cute when they're babies, and then they get older, and then they're just not very nice anymore, and they
Mm-hmm. Oh,
don't want to
really?
be held.
Oh.
And I really just want, like, if
You
you're
wanted
my
something to
pet, I
hold?
want to hold you and cuddle you and just
Right.
love you. And they just really don't want that. They just
Sure,
want to be
yeah.
quail.
Right. Yeah.
They want to eat and they want to drink their water.
That's basically it.
Yeah, quail are interesting. We actually have 24 right now we're hatching. So while
Holy cow.
I know. I have asked him to stop buying me livestock, but for some
Right.
reason I keep getting
Keep showing up.
more livestock. So I don't know if maybe it's opposite day when I say that, and he just
Right.
thinks that
Yeah,
he needs
right.
to get more. And I'm like, please stop
my
buying me livestock, because I mean we even had ducks.
And here in Papillion?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He got me ducks too.
Got you ducks.
So I'm like, I got 2 dogs, I got ducks, I got quail, I got 4 kids. I'm like, can
Right.
you not do this to me anymore? I'm like, I appreciate how much you love me, but
Right. Show it in a different way.
yeah, let's not buy any more livestock. I don't need more to take care of.
So I don't know this. I'm sure lots of people know this because people know about quail and stuff. But do they make noise?
They're really quiet.
They're quiet, okay.
Yeah, and that's why he didn't get that's why he got quail and not
Instead of
chickens.
chickens, gotcha.
Because obviously we live in like a neighborhood, so we have
Right.
like this little roost like house that they live in, and they're so quiet, like you don't even know they're back there.
Oh, wow.
But they lay eggs every day, so we have like just a whole bunch of teeny tiny little eggs.
Yeah.
And they stink to crack open. Because they like break, the shells break, but the like little thing to get the eggs out is like really hard. And so it's really hard to crack them. But,
okay.
And then they're little bite-sized, little teeny tiny,
Right.
over medium eggs in the morning, and you got to eat like 10 of them just to
like have a size
have
of
a
one
meal.
chicken egg
Yeah.
sort of a thing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Now
Yeah,
so they stink to get open as in they smell, or as in it's hard to get them open.
No, they're just hard to
Okay,
open.
okay.
I will say, if you don't like clean out their like home, it does smell bad.
Oh,
so
sure,
like
yeah.
you do have to clean it out. And I've learned a lot about raising quail, surprisingly. And he keeps saying that he wants to like eat the quail. And I'm like, no, they're laying eggs for us. You're not eating the quail. You can eat the
Yeah.
boys, but you can't eat my girls.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
right.
a little bit protective of them
Sure.
to an extent, obviously, because they're not that nice and I do want to cuddle them, but they still,
Right,
they're
don't
still
want to.
giving us food.
There we go. Yeah. Because how many quails alive do you have now?
So we have 2 left
2
out
left,
of the
okay.
12 because they're weird and they're
Yeah.
hard. I mean, they
Animals
don't
are
have a
animals. It's
survival
just
rate.
fine,
Darwinism is a thing.
Right,
Survival
yeah.
of the fittest. One of them flew out of the coop and then went under the deck and we couldn't find it. And so I'm like, well, you chose your life. And
Exactly
I can't help you
right,
at this
yeah.
point because I can't find you. So, and then when they were
Yeah.
babies, some of them, one of them was, I think I called him T-Rex or something. No,
Oh.
Lieutenant Dan. I made
I-
a little video
I
about
remember
him.
Lieutenant Dan,
Lieutenant
yes.
Dan, he couldn't walk. And so I would like have to take him to the water dish every like hour, and make sure he was eating. And he just wasn't going to survive because he couldn't walk. Obviously he would like scoot around.
Yeah. Right.
But like there was a couple of them that just weren't fit for
Sure.
survival. And so we ended up having 2 that were really hardy and like survived through
Okay.
everything. So,
Yeah.
but that's why he ended up getting more. 'Cause
Getting
he
some
was like,
more,
we
okay.
need more eggs. And I'm like, do we really?
Yeah. Right. Do we
Go to
though?
the store.
24. Oh my gosh, that is so many. Because are they of the 24 eggs? Are they all going to hatch? Or
No. So not all
okay.
of them hatch. And that's
Okay.
like, we had 12 eggs before.
Yeah.
And I think out of the 12, 9 hatched total.
Gotcha.
And then we had 6 that survived through the like baby stage.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah,
then
sure.
as they were getting like some of them would start picking on the others, and it was like
Oh, yeah.
it was a whole like hierarchy
Like
thing.
Lord of the Flies?
Lord of the Flies. Yeah. It's
That's
have
a
you-
throwback
Have
book,
you
yeah.
watched the House of Dragons? It was like they were attacking their families.
God, I have not watched it. I know what
It's like
know
they're
what it
little
is, but I
dragons
haven't
just
watched it.
attacking each other. It's weird. Yeah. It's
Do you
like,
see it happening too? So is it like
I've
dramatic?
seen it. Like
Yeah.
I've seen it happen, and I'm like, leave him alone.
Right,
He's
stop.
just a baby. I'm like,
Stop
leave your
attacking
brother
each other.
alone.
Right.
And they're like pecking
my
at each other's
gosh.
heads, and I'm like, stop.
Right.
I'm like, I'm already telling my kids not to fight. I don't have to tell you
Right.
guys
The
not
quails
to fight.
also, yeah. So you, I remember one of the fun things that you did in Florida, that you for marketing that you had done, and just in general getting to know people, was you did book clubs.
So I started, I have a friend,
Mm-hmm.
Kara, who I absolutely love. And we had a mutual friend that we kind of like met through.
Yeah.
And so she had a book club originally.
Ah,
and so I
okay.
joined her book club, and we turned it into this. I mean, the girls were absolutely phenomenal. Out of everything in Florida, yes, I miss the beaches, but I miss these girls
Miss
the
you,
most
right? Yeah.
because they were just a great group of women. And we had some of the coolest book clubs. We always told everybody it's like not your average book club. Like we're
Yeah.
the cool book club. Like
Right.
really cool. And so when I moved here, I was really missing that. So
Yeah.
I started a new one. And
Yeah.
so far so good. I've got
good.
like 30 girls in the club, but
Oh,
we have like
cool.
15 that usually show up to meetings. Like this month,
Do you do it monthly?
yeah. So
Okay.
so what we do is we come up with like a theme.
Mm-hmm.
And then that theme is what everybody brings as a suggestion to the next meeting.
Okay.
And then we read the synopsis of the book, and then
Mm-hmm.
everybody gets 3 votes on what book they like the best.
Mm-hmm.
And so out of those top 3, then we make a poll on our Facebook group, and then you pick the top book out of that poll.
Yeah.
And then that's the book that we read for the next month, and then at the next meeting we discuss it.
Wow.
And so then we have like a food theme, or we might like,
Yeah.
sometimes we dress up for like holidays, or if there's something crazy like I think 2 times ago we had a pool party
Oh, fun.
book
Yeah,
club,
yeah.
which was really fun.
Right.
This month I'm hosting, which I haven't like gotten into the book yet because I'm too busy reading the one that's It Ends With Us, which is coming out in movies.
Oh, I was gonna say that sounds like a movie.
And
Yeah,
so
okay.
we're also doing like a movie night together,
Oh,
like
are you
getting
really?
dinner and drinks, and then gonna go see the movie together.
Oh, fun.
So yes, it's one of my things where I love just meeting people and building those relationships, but reading is definitely a passion, and I enjoy doing
In
it.
general, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that? Are there any members of your book club here in Nebraska or even in Florida? Are they also with family members in the military and things like that?
So
Or no?
most of the book club in Florida actually originated, and it was all military
All
spouses.
military, okay,
So you had to be military affiliated because that way we had something in common with each other to
Right.
be able to really, relate.
Sure.
And then that one kind of started forming into something more permanent where we were like, well, we've gotten to know each other so well. We really don't want to bring in a ton of outside people.
Right.
We want people who are staying in the area because at that time,
Yeah.
a lot of the military members were retiring.
Oh,
and so
okay.
their spouses and them were retiring in that area. And so they were like, we want to have a group of us that are going to be here. We don't want to keep having to say goodbye to people because it's
Right.
always really sad to have to do that.
Sure.
And so they kind of call it like the Golden Girls style thing. They keep talking about how they're all going to move in the same house and like they're going to just read books and
Together.
go paddle boarding together. So, but I really, when I came out here, I initially opened it up to the military members' spouses on
Right.
the Offit page on Facebook.
Okay.
And the first time I asked about book clubs, like nobody like bit. It was just
Yeah.
kind of like, blah, book club, whatever.
Right, yeah.
But then I was like, no, they will pay attention to my book club because my book club is going to be cool. And so I took pictures from my old book club because we would always post pictures from
Oh,
our
right.
meetings.
Yeah.
And I posted pictures from like our Halloween meeting, our Christmas meeting, our Sparkle meeting that we did.
Yeah.
They did like a wig night one time, and we're just a really fun group of people. Anyways, so we ended up posted those pictures in there and saying, hey, if you want to join my book club, join my book club. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, you guys look so cool. And so I got like a ton of girls that joined
Oh,
it. And I was
nice.
really
Oh,
excited. And so
yeah.
now we've started really building like a group of girls. And so
nice.
we're starting to dwindle those numbers into more of
Right.
an intimate group, if
Sure.
that makes sense.
Yeah, right. Do you it's like, yeah, probably it's easy to I'm trying to think of the right wording for it, to kind of not wean, but kind of get as people don't come, well, then that's a good sign that it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's not going to work. And that's kind of what we
Right.
do. So it's like 3 meetings. If you don't show up, bye.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I kind of was lenient on that rule when we started, like, let it go
Right.
for 6 months. And we had a couple of people that were PCSing in that joined because that's what people do. Typically is the spouses will join the page of the community that they're moving
right.
to get
Right.
to know the area, ask questions about schools, neighborhoods, all sorts of things. So you try to be as helpful as possible. And a lot of times those girls will be like, hey, any book clubs in the area? Because I really enjoy reading. And then you just like, hey,
It goes
I
from
got a
there.
book club. Join my
Yeah.
book club. Like, we would love to have you. And so we've been waiting for those girls. And one of them's PCSing in right now. So she'll be just getting here at this month's meeting, but she says she probably isn't going to come until the next meeting because they've got lots of unpacking and stuff to do. So I get it.
Whatever.
But after all this like PCS season, then we'll start like pulling out the people that haven't shown up all year.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I know, because like the dramatic side of me thinks, okay, so they've got to get it down to a smaller group. So do they have auditions? Do they?
No, as long as you're showing up and you're actually excited
Right,
to be
then you're
there
gonna be-
and
yeah.
you're like, you know, because we do share like personal stuff about
Right,
ourselves with each
sure.
other. So we want it to be
It's a safe space,
We want
right?
it to be a safe space with a group
Yep.
of girls. So we're definitely like starting to dwindle it down. You know, I've got this girl, Chris, in the group who she's my smalls. I'm the biggie. Like if we stand next to each other, it is literally like, you know, I don't
twins.
that's exactly what it is. It's like, so we went out one time and I said, no, this is a complete total tangent. Like
all right.
she walked in, I was already sitting at the bar. It was the first time we met in person before our first meeting. And she came and sat next to me. And when we went to leave, I stood up and she stood up, and it was like Danny DeVito, I think that's who it is,
Yep,
right?
Danny
And then
DeVito,
Arnold
yeah.
Schwarzenegger, and it
Yep.
was just like, whoa. And so we keep saying that we're going to do a picture with each other, standing next to
Right.
each other, and put it next to a picture of the two of them.
The two of them, yeah,
because that's what
totally.
we call each other. But she's kind of like she's been like there helping me make sure everything stays
nice.
organized, and she's
Yeah.
been pretty great. So
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's a really cool idea, and it fulfills so many different voids. You can think of it from a community standpoint, but then a networking standpoint.
Yeah.
There's so many good
Well, and
things.
there's so many different types of people in it. I mean, you have people that are in marketing in there. You have people that are in the healthcare industry. You have people that are, one of the girls she edits books.
Really?
Yes. So
Oh,
we
wow,
get some,
that would
like,
be interesting
Yeah,
to have
it is
someone
really
like
cool.
that.
So we've got like a whole like wide range of people in it. So you get
Mm-hmm.
to meet and mingle with a whole bunch of different types of people. So like the network that you get from just having something that you enjoy,
Right.
and then it being authentic is just cherry on the cake.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Oh, that's so cool though.
Yeah.
That's a ton of fun to have something like that in your life. That it's, I don't know, a book club in of itself is not a different idea, but I feel like the way that you're talking about it is. And like you say, the cool book club, right?
Yeah, it's so
makes sense.
I think I call it the book club's name is Read Between the Lines.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it's then like subtitled A Rebel Book Club.
A rebel book club.
Yeah,
Nice.
because we're different. Like we have book clubs. Most of the book clubs around here, they're meeting at like 9 a.m. at like a coffee shop.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're reading, a chapter and then talking about a chapter,
Sure.
every week. And so I'm like, no, we're going to do things differently. We're
different.
going to drink. We're going to get
Yeah.
to know each other. We're going to have parties. We're going to
Yeah.
go out and watch
That's
the
fun.
movies that came out as books, things like that.
Totally. I like that too. The movie that
Yeah.
came out of the book. That's a really good idea. Oh my gosh. Well, hey, I tell you what, I try to keep these at kind of 30 minutes. So that's all. This was
good.
great.
This
so
was
hopefully,
fabulous.
yeah, hopefully people got to know Marci a little bit more. If you didn't, well then find her. Get to know her more.
Yeah, find me. I'm in Omaha, Nebraska.
That's right.
I live in Papillion. I'm on social media.
You're a good person to
Yeah.
know. It works out good.
Absolutely, I am.
Well, thank you for coming on and doing this little thing with me here. It's fun for me to get to know people selfishly, and then again, hopefully people do that as well. But
Awesome. Well, thanks, Brad.
this is Conversations with Broker Brad. Tune in next time, and we'll have somebody else on that'll be fun, just like Marci, hopefully.
I hope.
I hope. See you guys.
Kings of real estate, we control the fame.